Greetings, it's Ian from RTO here. Welcome to a very cold Northampton. It is -2. But Rocky and I are nice and warm and cosy. So we're going to rock on. And today we're starting a brand new story. We're going to have a look at a modern musician who's very good at what he does, and that's Jack White. It's a very short story, but I think Jack White needs a mention. He's made a valid and great contribution to music. So we're going to have a look at White Stripes, his solo stuff, and a couple of bands that he was in as well. So we're going to start off today with the first thing that I think most people discovered him in, and that's White Stripes. Now, White Stripes is a very unusual band. It's a rock duo, and it consisted of Jack White and, at the time, his wife Meg White. Now, Jack wrote the songs, vocals, guitars and piano and bass, and Meg did the drums and percussion and vocals. They were one of the leading bands in the indie rock garage revival, and they released 6 albums. All 6 of them are very good. To be quite honest, there is not one bad album in this discography. I just think ones are better than the others, and that's not degrading any of these albums. Very important albums, and we're going to have a look at them. So, coming in at number 6, we've got the 3rd album that was released in 2001, and it's called White Blood Cells. So the only people on here are Meg and Jack on all the albums. So the first track is called Dead Leaves and the Dirty Ground. This song really opens up with this really distorted guitar riff from Jack. His vocal is a little bit shrieky for me, but it just seems a bit flat. I don't know why, but of all the songs, this is one that I'm not particularly a fan of. Okay, then when we get Hotel Yorba, now this is a very short sort of acoustic thing, and it's got some great drumming from Meg. Now, I think Meg is a fantastic drummer. Because there's only the 2 of them, she makes that drum do melodies as well as the beat. The upbeats on this are absolutely incredible. I'm Finding It Harder to Be a Gentleman is the next track. Got a little bit of electric piano in here. Once again, some great drumming from Meg. A pretty good track. Fell in Love with a Girl. I love these short, sharp tracks. It's 1 minute 50. It's very funky guitar, some really groovy drumming, a gritty vocal from Jack. I do like that track. Up next is Expecting. Highlight of this is Meg's drumming. I like how she picks it up, drops it, doesn't miss a beat. Absolutely very underrated drummer. Okay, then we get Little Room, which is 50 seconds of drumming from Meg. There's nothing wrong with that. The Union Forever. Interesting track. Some nice guitar work here from Jack. And what I like about this, Meg is following the guitar tones and the riffs, and she sort of changes that beat at the drop of a hat. Excellent track. Then we get my favourite track on this one. It's called The Same Boy You've Always Known. It was certainly getting to my top 10 White Stripes tracks, without a doubt. I love the gentleness of this. I love the gentle tapping on the rims from Meg. It's just, and then it comes together, and it goes back to that tappy. It's a really good track. Next track is called We're Going to Be Friends. Just a solid track. You can't believe that 2 people can create so much music. Considering you've got a guitar and drums, it's really got depth, very good track. Offend in every way. I like Jack's guitar work in this, is superb. Really strong track. I think I smell a rat. I love the beginning of this. That drumming from Meg is so precise. Aluminium, some heavy riffs, some great distorted feedback. I like how the vocal is done as well. I can't wait. And once again, we got one of these short, sharp tracks. Some great drumming from Meg. Another short, sharp called Now Mary. Meg's drumming is hot on this. And when you watch it, it looks so simple. I Can Learn. It's one of the tracks I'm not a fan of, but hey ho. I Can Learn. It's a track where we get The Protector. I'm reading the same track twice. You get a little bit of vocals from Meg on this, and I think it's a nice track to end the album. Okay, this is one of them albums. Just because it's number 6 doesn't mean I don't like it. I think this is a great album. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 7 out of 10. Okay, then coming in at number 5, we have got the 5th album from 2005, and it's Get Behind Me, Satan. This opens up with a little track called A Blue Orchid. The drumming at the beginning is great. That bass drum really comes through. Got a great guitar and a nice falsetto vocal from Jack. Up next is The Nurse. Bit different. We got a bit more percussion. We got some vibraphone from Meg. Really nice. That works well with the drums. Excellent. My Doorbell. Great drumming from Meg on this. Interesting time signature as well. Very good quirky vocal from Jack. Good track. Forever Her is me over for me. My favourite track on this album. I do like the piano in this. It's got a nice percussion. It's a little bit different. And I think that's why I like it. It's a little bit different for them. Little Ghost, very quirky. It's acoustic. It's like a banjo-y sound. It's a bit of a folky song, I think. Really good. The Denial Twist. The interplay with Jack and Meg on this is brilliant. They play off each other really well. It works perfectly. Now, another of my favourite tracks on here is a track called White Moon. It reminds me of a progressive rock track. That's the structure, the drumming timing, the piano. It's just a fantastic little track. Then we get Instinct Blues. It's a bluesy sort of guitar with a nice drum from Meg. Passive Manipulation, very short track, and it's Meg singing. It's just 35 seconds. Then we have a track called Take, Take, Take. Some nice acoustic guitar in that, but it's the drum beat that gels this to the acoustic guitar. Ugly As I Seem. It's an instrumental, so there's no singing. It's an instrumental that's got just a little bit of singing. I think it's very simple. Red Rain, nothing to do with Peter Gabriel. I love Meg's drumming on this. If you listen to it very cleverly, you can see how clever and how she controls the track. It's not Jack. Meg controls this all the way through. I'm Lonely, but I ain't that lonely yet. Nice, strong, pretty sound track all round. Great performance. A pretty solid album from the White Stripes. Some good tracks on here. Some exceptional ones as well. Just a very all good round album again. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 7.5. Okay, coming in at number 4, we've got the second album from 2000. And it's called Stijl. Stijl, sorry. On here, the first track is a very short opener called You're Pretty Good Looking for a Girl. Very short opener, very, very basic. Great little track. Hello Operator, love this track. Again, it's one of them tracks with the drumming changes beat halfway through at the drop of a hat. And there's nothing, it flows wonderful. Some great powerful riffs here from Jack, and a fine solo as well. Little Bird comes next, a bit of slide guitar now. It's got a lovely tempo to it, again controlled by that wonderful drumming of Meg. Apple Blossom, this has got a bit of a 60s vibe to it, especially with the guitar work. There's a gentle bit of piano in there as well. Really good. I'm Bound to Pack It Up, acoustic, great vocal from Jack, bit more diverse, really good. Death Letter, Eddie James' son, House. Nice track, busy, nice bluesy feel to this one. I do like Meg's drumming on this again. Great riffs as well. Sister, Do You Know My Name? I think this is probably one of the tracks that's the closest they ever come to doing a full-on ballad. Some nice guitar in this. It's a really good song. Truth Doesn't Make a Noise. Again, we've got another acoustic track with a nice bit of piano. I do like that track a lot. A Boy's Best Friend. Some slide guitar. I'd say it's my favourite track on here. It's just got some gentleness in there as well. Very good track. Let's Build a Home comes next. Beefy rock tracks. Some heavy drumming from Meg. The riffs are great. It's a great vocal from Jack. Jumble Jumble. This is another good track. It's very 70s sort of rock. I do like that. What Can't Be Nicer to Me. Again, bluesy riffs. Lots of good bluesy riffs on this album. Your Southern Can Is Mine. Bit folky now. It's got that folky feel to it. Jack sings a really good vocal. Some acoustic guitar. A little bit of tambourine going on. It's quite weird, but it's nice. As I said, a good album with plenty of bluesy type riffs. Some acoustic tracks on here. It's a really all-round good album. So I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 7.6. Okay, then coming at number 3, we got the final album, and the 6th, came out in 2007, and it's called Icky Thump. Starts off with Icky Thump, my favourite track on here. It is definitely top 10 song from the White Stripes. I like the start of it. It sounds like there's a stylophone on it. I don't know if it is, but I'm sure it's a stylophone. Some great drumming from Meg on this. Terrific track. You don't know what love is, you just do as you're told. Great track. The bass drum, that's what I like about White Stripes. Meg's bass drum, it sort of dominates the sound. And I think that's why it gives it that richness on all their tracks. It's that great boomy bass drum. Some great riffs on that as well. Then we get 300 miles an hour torrential outpour blues. Love this track. It's gentle, and then all of a sudden Jack cranks up that guitar. Some great riffs, and then we go back to the gentle sound as well. Great track. Conquest, a little quirky track. Bass drum's great on this. Sounds good. Lots of uplift beat on this. The trumpet as well. It's a bit different. Very, very good track. Bone Broke. Good opening riffs from Jack. They're absolutely cracking. In comes Meg on the drums. It's a decent track. Prickly Thorn but Sweetly Worn. Got a Celtic feel to this. The drum is a very Celtic sound. There's a little bit of mandolin in there as well. Sounds really good. And then we got St Andrew, and in brackets, The Battle Is in the Air. A very interesting track. Meg sings on this. It's a very good Celtic song. I think it's got a little bit of Ulayan pipes on it, and then it really speeds up into quite a sharp rock track. Great track. Little Cream Soda, second favourite track on here. Some fantastic riffs here. Again, once we get Meg coming on the drums, gives it that depth. Then we get Rag and Bone. This album's full of great tracks. Meg's great on this, and she has a sing. The bass drum sounds great on this. I'm slowly turning to you. I love the organ up here, and it's a sterling performance by the guitar sound and the drums. And Marta, For My Love For You. Fantastic track. The keyboards really give this some depth. It would have been a great track, but the keyboards just give it that extra zing. Catch-All Blues, a little bluesy track again. I do like the riffs. It's a great guitar solo, and once again we get this 2 or 3 different signature drumming times that change just like that. It's incredible how she does it. Then the last track, Effect and Course, probably the weakest track on the album. It just doesn't fit. It's a shame, really, because it's an absolute belter album. Final album to sign off on. I think it's got some of the great drum sounds on here. They really got it absolutely on the nail here, on the money. Really strong album. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 8 out of 10. So coming in at number 2, we have the debut album from 1999, and it's called The White Stripes. First track on this one is called Jimmy the Exploder. The drumming on this is great. The guitar grooves are good. Absolutely brilliant track. Stop Breaking Down. It's a cover of a Robert Johnson song. And they do a great version of it. I really like this, how they've done it. It just proves what great songs Robert Johnson wrote as well. The Big Three Killed My Baby. Raw rock as it goes. Plug in and go. Some great drumming. Susie Lee. You can see the love of blues that Jack's got with some of the guitar work on this. Fantastic. It's got great. The bass drum again dominates. Meg's drumming holds the track together. Sugar Tasted never tasted so good. My favourite track on here is one of my favourite acoustic tracks by the White Stripes. It's just so simple, bluesy, wonderful. Wasting My Time, probably my second favourite track on here. I just love the strong vocal from Jack and the riffs as well. Cannon Sun House, which incorporates John the Revelator, which is a great bluesy track. I love this. Absolutely powerful track. Astro, it's got a really good beat on this from Meg. Brilliant track. Broken Bricks, very short track, very punk riffs in this, and the drumming on this is fantastic. It's that real sort of signature punk drum beat that's solid. When You Hear My Name, again, it's a very dirty blues riff, sort of thing that Billy Gibbons did on the later ZZ Top albums. That dirty, grindy blues riff, brilliant. Then we have a little quirky number called Do. Some great riffs in that one. Then we have Screwdriver. It's one of the weaker songs on here, but what makes it is actually the drumming. The drumming is the highlight of that track. One More Cup of Coffee. It's a Bob Dylan song, and they do it justice, believe it or not. Little People, I think this has got my favourite drumming from Meg, full stop. She creates some great rhythms on this, and it's incredibly good. Slicker Drips, very short track, great riffs. And then we got St. James Infirmary Blues, a song made famous by Cab Calloway, and they do a great version of it. Then we have I Fought Piranhas. It's a bluesy sound. Meg's drumming is really good. It's a melodic drum beat all the way through, and sometimes doing these melodic slow beats is harder than just really hammering the drums, and she does it perfectly on here. And that was the last track. What a debut album. A lot of people, we had never heard anything like this, and when we hear the tracks you go wow, and then when you see them and you just find it's a guitarist and a drummer, you go wow. It was a bit of fresh air in the rock music at the time. So I am going to give this an RTO ranking of 8.3. Okay, my number one, and I think most people will know this, I did feature it in a classic album. I don't know if it was last year or the year before now. It's their fourth album from 2003, and it's The Brilliant Elephant. And we got some guest personnel on here. We got Mort Krim on vocal and Holly Golightly on vocals as well. Opens up with the classic Seven Nation Army. Love that bass line on this. Meg's drumming is absolutely top draw. She is a terrific drummer. This is a classic rock track. One of my favourite tracks from the 2000s. Okay, Black Math is the next. It's very punky in places, and I love this. It's fast, it's fanatic, the drumming is brilliant, the riffs are great. Absolutely killer track. There's No Home Here For You. The harmonies here between Megan and Jack are brilliant. Love the riffs in this. Then we have a version of I Just Don't Know What to Do with Myself, made famous by Dusty Springfield or Burt Bacharach and Hal Dalvin track. It's the most weirdest version of this song. I'm not that keen on it, to be honest, but it's an interesting interpretation. In the cold, cold night, some catchy little guitar licks on this, and Meg's vocal. It's a really good track. I Want to Be the Boy to Warm Your Mother's Heart. The piano work from Jack is great on this. Very 70s. It's a little bit different. You've Got Her in Your Pocket. This reminds me of Tyrannosaurus Rex before T-Rex came on it. It's got that old folky, bongo-y type sound. It's really good. I don't know if Jack is a fan of Mark Bolan, but it's very Tyrannosaurus Rex, that one. Ball and Biscuit. It just shows what you get with one guitarist and one drummer and how much noise they can make. It's 7 minutes long, but you don't realise it. It's really good. It's got some great guitar in it. It's got some great drumming. Really strong track. And you just don't see that 7 minutes. It doesn't seem that long. Then we get probably one of my favourite tracks. Top 3. The Hardest Button to Button. That distorted bass drum. Brilliant. It's a classic. That guitar riff is very iconic now. And it is a fabulous video. When you've got Meg's drums going down the street, and it's very well filmed. Great track, and I think that it's that video that really made this song great. Then we get Little Acorns. Wow, we're going really heavy metal riffs in here. I do like the strong riffs, cranking them out. The thump of that bass drum from Meg that dominates the track. If it wasn't for that real dirty bass drum, it would be a bit thin. Hypnotised, punky sound, I like that. The Air Needs Near My Fingers. The drumming from Meg's absolutely brilliant. Jack's great on this, very catchy tune. Girl, You Have No Faith in Medicine. Another punky riffs from Jack, great vocal. And then the last track, Well, It's True That We Love One Another. Acoustic number. Both of them singing. It's a really nice track to end the album. I think this is one of the most important albums of the 2000s. It's got some great tunes on here. He's just he's a very underrated and one of the new modern greats is Jack White. He brought this freshness to it, and this is probably one of my favourite albums from the 2000s. So I'm going to give it an RTO ranking of 8.5. Okay, that's part 1 done. Next week, I think we're doing, because I'm a bit behind in what I'm doing at the moment, because I've not been well. Just checking, because I'm... Yes, it's Jack White's solo albums next week, so we'll be having a look at that. Okay, up next is a classic album that gets forgotten about, but it has got 2 big hits that were hits for other people, and that is Russ Ballard's Winning. So I'll see you on that. Bye for now.